Hi, I'm Dr. Kenneth Ellenbogen for the Afib professionalcommunity.org, which is part of the CardioSource website of the American College of Cardiology. And I'm here today with Dr. Greg Michaud from Brigham and Women's Hospital, and we're going to be talking about an update on Afib ablation. Dr. Michaud, can you please tell me a little bit about what we've learned over the last year in terms of the results and efficacy of Afib ablation?
Well, Ken, I think one of the most important things we've learned is that pulmonary vein isolation really does seem to be an effective treatment for paroxysmal atrial fibrillation. And we've learned that basically through two important studies. One involved a contact sensing catheter, where we found that the success rate is about 80% at 1 year, free of AFib or any atrial arrhythmia lasting more than 30 seconds, if the contact force at the tip of the catheter was more than 20 grams. Obviously, we make better lesions when we have better contact force with the catheter tip. We also performed a study that involved making the ablation line unexcitable to pacing, and if you reinforce the line that way, we also got above an 80% success rate at 1 year. Traditionally, we've seen about a 50% single procedure success at a year. So we know now that if we can make durable pulmonary vein isolation, we should expect about an 80% success at 1 year.
Well, that's very exciting. Are there some newer energies that have been used for Afib ablation also and that have evolved? Can you give us an update on that, please?
Yeah, so what I was talking about is radio frequency energy and a better way to use it, so we're delivering more effective lesions. There are other energies being evaluated. One has been approved, cryo energy, on a balloon catheter, and there's been a new iteration of that balloon, which actually I've used and I think is a better way to isolate the pulmonary veins. We've seen better success, close to the 80% at a year. There's also a laser balloon that's being evaluated as well, and then hot balloons which deliver radio frequency to try to do a one-shot, quicker way, more efficient way to do pulmonary vein isolation.
What about some of the complications? Do these newer technologies mean we don't have to worry about damage to the esophagus or damage to the pulmonary veins?
I would love that, but it's not true. I'm afraid that any energy source that we use could damage the esophagus, and it was once thought that cryo was a safe energy when applied to the esophagus. However, we now know that atrioesophageal fistula, one of the most feared complications of pulmonary vein isolation, has been reported with cryo energy. And there have been more than one case, so it's not a one-off phenomenon. So we need to be careful still when applying energy in or near the esophagus.
What about, I know there are even more new and evolving technologies. Can you mention something about some of the work that's been done with rotors and how that may impact our treatment of Afib?
Yeah. So one of the more frustrating things that we do as ablationists is ablate persistent atrial fibrillation, because pulmonary vein isolation alone doesn't seem to do it. What we realize is that we need a better way to map the potential mechanisms that cause persistent atrial fibrillation, and there are two now being evaluated. One is firm mapping. Dr. Narayan at San Diego has developed a system to be able to process the very complicated data and perhaps point us to where we need to ablate. The same thing with Yoram Rudy doing body surface mapping and also mapping potential rotors and potential mechanisms that allow us to more effectively ablate atrial fibrillation. The jury's still out on those mapping.
Well, this is all very exciting. It seems like we have some new information on the efficacy of the procedure, some new technologies that are going to help improve that efficacy, and some new energies. So we should have a lot more to offer our patients now than we had even a year ago for Afib ablation. Thank you very much, Greg.